Trascendental es la palabra para valorar la presencia del secretario de Estado de los Estados Unidos, Marco Rubio, como parte de la Conferencia de Seguridad de Múnich. Dijo claramente y se entendió y se le aplaudió que Estados Unidos y Europa son hermanos que deben unir fuerzas para salvar la cultura occidental que ha sido responsable del avance de la civilización humana. Está bueno ya de que Europa esté haciendo ingentes esfuerzos para enfrentarse contra todo lo que diga los Estados Unidos. Atención, Europa, el enemigo no es los Estados Unidos. Aunque Estados Unidos esté exigiendo un trato justo como parte de lo que está ocurriendo ahora a nivel global, esto se trata de otra cosa. Esto se trata de un nivel de respeto, de consideración, de comunicación y de enfrentarse a las potencias que están procurando hacer más daño. Son exactamente China y Rusia, no son los Estados Unidos. Por eso cuando Marco dice ante ellos, Estados Unidos y Europa son hermanos que deben unir fuerzas para salvar la cultura occidental, no está bromeando. Y eso forma parte también de cuáles son las verdaderas intenciones que tiene esta administración para con los Estados Unidos y también para el mundo. Intenciones de la administración Trump, lo que en realidad se está planeando. Esto fue lo que dijo Marco Rubio. Evidencia.
Under President Trump, the United States of America will once again take on the task of renewal and restoration, driven by a vision of a future as proud, as sovereign, and as vital as our civilization's past. And while we are prepared, if necessary, to do this alone, it is our preference and it is our hope to do this together with you, our friends here in Europe. For the United States and Europe, we belong together. America was founded 250 years ago, but the roots began here on this continent long before. The men who settled and built the nation of my birth arrived on our shores carrying the memories and the traditions and the Christian faith of their ancestors as a sacred inheritance, an unbreakable link between the old world and the new. We are part of one civilization, Western civilization. We are bound to one another by the deepest bonds that nations could share, forged by centuries of shared history, Christian faith, culture, heritage, language, ancestry, and the sacrifices our forefathers made together for the common civilization to which we have fallen heir. And so this is why we Americans may sometimes come off as a little direct and urgent in our counsel. This is why President Trump demands seriousness and reciprocity from our friends here in Europe. The reason why, my friends, is because we care deeply. We care deeply about your future and ours. And if at times we disagree, our disagreements come from our profound sense of concern about a Europe with which we are connected, not just economically, not just militarily. We are connected spiritually, and we are connected culturally. We want Europe to be strong. We believe that Europe must survive. Because the two great wars of the last century serve for us as history's constant reminder that ultimately our destiny is and will always be intertwined with yours.
Estamos unidos unos a otros por los lazos más profundos que las naciones podrían compartir, dijo el secretario de Estado Marco Rubio, forjados por siglos de historia compartida, fe cristiana, cultura, herencia, idioma, ascendencia y los sacrificios de nuestros antepasados que hicieron juntos por la civilización común de la que hemos sido herederos, dijo el jefe de la diplomacia estadounidense, quien por supuesto habló de lo que tenía que hablar. Habló de la nueva interpretación de la seguridad nacional para los Estados Unidos. Cómo se interpreta el tema de la seguridad nacional en los Estados Unidos y cómo las amenazas a la seguridad nacional estadounidense también establecen una relación directa con los términos con los que se negocia la transparencia, la fiabilidad y el futuro de las relaciones de los Estados Unidos con el mundo. Seguridad nacional, un tema recurrente de esta administración, no es una obsesión, es una obligatoriedad. Sobre seguridad nacional habló Marco Rubio. Evidencia.
National security, which this conference is largely about, is not merely a series of technical questions. How much we spend on defense or where, how we deploy it, these are important questions, they are. But they are not the fundamental one. The fundamental question we must answer at the outset is what exactly are we defending? Because armies do not fight for abstractions. Armies fight for a people. Armies fight for a nation. Armies fight for a way of life. And that is what we are defending. A great civilization that has every reason to be proud of its history, confident of its future, and aims to always be the master of its own economic and political destiny. It was here, in Europe, where the ideas that planted the seeds of liberty that changed the world were born. It was here, in Europe, where the world, which gave the world the rule of law, the universities, and the scientific revolution. It was this continent that produced the genius of Mozart and Beethoven, of Dante and Shakespeare, of Michelangelo and Da Vinci, of the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. And this is the place where the vaulted ceilings of the Sistine Chapel and the towering spires of the great cathedral in Cologne, they testify not just to the greatness of our past or to a faith in God that inspired these marvels. They foreshadow the wonders that await us in our future. But only if we are unapologetic in our heritage and proud of this common inheritance can we together begin the work of envisioning and shaping our economic and our political future. Deindustrialization was not inevitable. It was a conscious policy choice, a decades-long economic undertaking that stripped our nations of their wealth, of their productive capacity, and of their independence. And the loss of our supply chain sovereignty was not a function of a prosperous and healthy system of global trade. It was foolish. It was a foolish but voluntary transformation of our economy that left us dependent on others for our needs and dangerously vulnerable to crisis.
Y dijo también alto y claro, la falsa noción izquierdista de una sociedad sin fronteras ha sido una receta para el desastre que ha desestabilizado a Occidente. Habló de migración, dijo, en la búsqueda de un mundo sin fronteras, abrimos nuestras puertas a una ola de migración masiva sin precedentes que amenaza con la cohesión de nuestras sociedades, la continuidad de nuestra cultura y el futuro de nuestros pueblos. Más alto y más claro, imposible. Habla Marco Rubio sobre los problemas y también las oportunidades de la migración y qué es para él la migración masiva. Evidencia.
Mass migration was not, isn't some fringe concern of little consequence. It was and continues to be a crisis which is transforming and destabilizing societies all across the West. Together, we can reindustrialize our economies and rebuild our capacity to defend our people. But the work of this new alliance should not be focused just on military cooperation and reclaiming the industries of the past. It should also be focused on together advancing our mutual interests in new frontiers, unshackling our ingenuity, our creativity, and the dynamic spirit to build a new Western century. Commercial space travel and cutting-edge artificial intelligence, industrial automation and flex manufacturing, creating a Western supply chain for critical minerals not vulnerable to extortion, from other powers, and a unified effort to compete for market share in the economies of the global South. Together, we can not only take back control of our own industries and supply chains, we can prosper in the areas that will define the 21st century. But we must also gain control of our national borders. Controlling who and how many people enter our countries, this is not an expression of xenophobia, it is not hate. It is a fundamental act of national sovereignty. And the failure to do so is not just an abdication of one of our most basic duties owed to our people. It is an urgent threat to the fabric of our societies and the survival of our civilization itself. And finally, we can no longer place the so-called global order above the vital interests of our people and our nations. We do not need to abandon the system of international cooperation we authored, and we don't need to dismantle the global institutions of the old order that together we built. But these must be reformed. These must be rebuilt.
Dijo claramente controlar quién y cuántas personas entran a nuestros países no es una expresión de xenofobia, no es odio, es un acto fundamental de soberanía nacional. No hacerlo no es solo una abdicación de uno de nuestros deberes más básicos para con el pueblo, es una amenaza urgente a la estructura de nuestras sociedades. ¿Cuál es el camino que sigue la administración Trump en este segundo mandato? Así lo dijo Marco Rubio. Evidencia.
This is the path that President Trump and the United States has embarked upon. It is the path we ask you here in Europe to join us on. It is a path we have walked together before and hope to walk together again. For 5 centuries, before the end of the Second World War, the West had been expanding. Its missionaries, its pilgrims, its soldiers, its explorers pouring out from its shores to cross oceans, settle new continents, build vast empires extending out across the globe. But in 1945, for the first time since the age of Columbus, it was contracting. Europe was in ruins. Half of it lived behind an iron curtain, and the rest looked like it would soon follow. The great Western empires had entered into terminal decline, accelerated by godless communist revolutions and by anti-colonial uprisings that would transform the world and drape the red hammer and sickle across vast swaths of the map in the years to come. Against that backdrop, then as now, many came to believe that the West's age of dominance had come to an end and that our future was destined to be a faint and feeble echo of our past. But together, our predecessors recognized that decline was a choice, and it was a choice they refused to make. This is what we did together once before, and this is what President Trump and the United States want to do again now, together with you. And this is why we do not want our allies to be weak, because that makes us weaker. We want allies who can defend themselves so that no adversary will ever be tempted to test our collective strength. This is why we do not want our allies to be shackled by guilt and shame. We want allies who are proud of their culture and of their heritage, who understand that we are heirs to the same great and noble civilization, and who together with us are willing and able to defend it.
Esta es quizás la línea más trascendental. Ir a bailar a casa del trompo. Le está diciendo a Europa, queremos aliados que se sientan orgullosos de su cultura y su herencia. No queremos aliados que se sientan atados por culpa o por vergüenza. O sea, si son, si están, están. Tenemos que hablar el mismo idioma porque hay problemas muy grandes que resolver en este momento. Hizo un gran hincapié en que Europa y los Estados Unidos tienen que rechazar el argumento de la culpa blanca. No somos culpables por haber nacido blancos. Ese es un disparate que la izquierda está queriendo mover. Usted no debe sentir complejo por haber nacido blanco. Tampoco es justo que alguien sienta complejo por haber nacido negro o de otra raza. Eso no puede ser. No puede haber culpa. No puede haber nada de esto afectándonos. Exacto. No puede ser así. Eso está mal. No puede prevalecer de ese modo. Así ocurre en este momento y esta es una gran advertencia. Habló finalmente de la relación América-Europa. Esto fue lo que dijo, evidencia.
For we in America have no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline. We do not seek to separate, but to revitalize an old friendship and renew the greatest civilization in human history. What we want is a reinvigorated alliance that recognizes that what has ailed our societies is not just a set of bad policies, but a malaise of hopelessness and complacency. An alliance is the alliance that we want is one that is not paralyzed into inaction by fear. Fear of climate change, fear of war, fear of technology. Instead, we want an alliance that boldly races into the future. And the only fear we have is the fear of the shame of not leaving our nations prouder, stronger, and wealthier for our children. An alliance ready to defend our people, to safeguard our interests, and to preserve the freedom of action that allows us to shape our own destiny. Not one that exists to operate a global welfare state and atone for the purported sins of past generations. An alliance that does not allow its power to be outsourced, constrained, or subordinated to systems beyond its control. One that does not depend on others for the critical necessities of its national life. And one that does not maintain the polite pretense that our way of life is just one among many, and that asks for permission before it acts. And above all, an alliance based on the recognition that we, the West, have inherited together. What we have inherited together is something that is unique and distinctive and irreplaceable. Because this, after all, is the very foundation of the transatlantic bond. Acting together in this way, we will not just help recover a sane foreign policy. It will restore to us a clear sense of ourselves. It will restore a place in the world. And in so doing, it will rebuke and deter the forces of civilizational erasure that today menace both America and Europe alike.
Ha sido trascendental la intervención de Marco Rubio como parte de este evento. Estamos orgullosísimos de todo su posicionamiento, no solo a nivel internacional, sino también nacional, porque muchas veces la gente es profeta fuera de su tierra, no consigue ser profeta dentro de su tierra, y yo creo que es bien importante que haya este nivel de protagonismo desde Marco Rubio como parte de esta conferencia tan importante a nivel global. Hacemos una breve pausa, regresamos enseguida.